So I'd like to share a story with you. I've talked about some paranormal stuff, things that appear to be paranormal, but I might tell you a real ghost story. And it has to do with a good friend of mine. And I'll just say his name was B. B passed away when we were in our late 20s. Now, B and I grew up down the street from each other, very close. My sister and his sister were close. My father and his father, and my mother and his mother were close. And so our families did things together. My father worked with his father at the same computer company. And we had our good times and our bad times. So there was times that B and I didn't always get along. I remember we got in a fight once, a physical fight. You know, it was not punching. It was just like shoving each other and got on each other's nerves a few times. And there's times where I wasn't completely kind to him. I guess when you know someone long enough, you end up hurting somebody you love, especially if you're very young and you're not still learning about right and wrong, good and evil and all that. So I was a couple years ahead of him in high school. And after I graduated, he dropped out and he moved away. And he did high school, I don't know, at his grandparents. He lived with his grandparents, did high school over 1,000 miles away. And he got through it, graduated. I don't know, he was working in like a plastics company. He said he made pretty good money at the time on a plastic bottle line. Knew all about plastic bottles. And when he came back to the state, I got rumored he was back in the state. So I was really anxious. I'm like, I don't know, it feels weird. Like I want to hang out with my friend, but I haven't seen him in years. So I bought a copy of Gauntlet Dark Legacy for the PS2, and I went over to his apartment. And it was just before Christmas, and older stepbrother there and a nephew, and they were helping decorate the Christmas tree, and I got all anxious, like it was like on a first date, which is kind of gay. If you get that first date anxiety for seeing an old friend, but that's how it felt. So anyways, his brother and the nephew take off, and we played Gauntlet, and we had a couple beers, and we had a great time. It was like being kids again. And we renewed our friendship. I was working as an exterminator. He was working for a local gas company, not like the propane gas company, natural gas. It was like they fill canisters of gas. And he was a foreman there. He actually worked his way up. He was pretty respected there, hardworking guy. And so when time allowed, we'd have breakfast together like our parents did. And just like our parents used to fight over who paid, like you ain't paying, no, you ain't paying, no, that kind of thing, And it still felt awkward. We weren't as close as we used to be. He had his own life. He was younger than me, socially apt, charming, good looking. He'd go out to, Manchester, New Hampshire area, bars and such, and get in fights. And was he like clavicular hot? No, but he was a good looking guy to the where like other guys' girls would come over to him, that type of thing. And it'd result in brawls. And he'd tell me some weird stories of him and his friends beating the crap out of whatever, some other dude and his friends. And not my life, not my thing, but it was his thing. Death seemed to haunt the family. His birth mother died when we were very young. We found her dead on the kitchen floor. She had some sort of heart problem, a chronic heart defect of some sort. She was taking medicine for, or experimental drugs for. I don't know what it was. I was young. I didn't know any better. And then his dad remarried, and his dad got cancer, and the cancer went into remission, but then his stepmom died suddenly, and then in grief, his dad's cancer came back, and his father died, and then shortly thereafter, he was grief stricken. He had a heart attack, and then fell down the stairs, and he died. So, finding out that he died just kind of broke me. I had a lot of mixed feelings of guilt, because I know when his stepmom and then his dad died, like I felt like I wasn't available for him enough. I should have just gone over to his house and said, hey, let me come over in here and hang out with you, right? But I always called or text messaged or any of that, at a distance type of communication, instead of just, hey, you're supposed to be his best friend, fucking go over there, right? So I felt very awkward and sad, and I felt like if I was there for him, maybe he wouldn't have died. Maybe, he was already brokenhearted, metaphorically speaking, but then like his heart really did fail. And I wondered if half of it was his, inherited heart defect, and the other half was the fact that he was literally, emotionally brokenhearted, and just the grief served to kill him, the higher stress level or something. And I missed him. And every once in a while, I just get sad, and I listen to certain music and think about him, and I get stuck in a loop. And it's not a good place to be. It occurred to me that once I got into karaoke, that he would have enjoyed singing karaoke, because he was a good singer. He had a beautiful singing voice. And just before he died, too, he was talking to me about how he and I could get into general contracting. And he's like he has the mechanical skills, and I had the brain for doing the books and shit, and we could just, do that together. And I do wish I went back and did that with him. I wish we just took a flying fucking leap at it, and just to see what would happen. Because I think we probably would have been a good team. Well, anyway, let's get to the ghost story now, because I've been talking about this man for 7 minutes now. So, many years later, so he died in what? 2008? 2008, I think. So fast forward to 2020. Or 2021. I had just moved into the place I'm in now. And I was thinking about him. So I had a bottle of vodka or whiskey or something. I can't remember what it was. And I wish I could have a drink with him. So I poured 2 shots, one for me and one for him. And I left his shot on the table. And I went to bed after, being sad thinking about him. And I got up in the morning, and the glass was empty. The shot glass was empty. And I asked the people I'm living with, like, hey, did you drink a shot of liquor I left out? It's okay if you did. I just want to understand. I explained it. Like, no, I didn't. And then the other person didn't. And no one dumped it out. And I thought maybe it evaporated. So I poured another shot, and I left it for the night, and it was still there in the morning. So it didn't just all evaporate. I don't think the cats drank it. They wouldn't get near alcohol. They have one sniff and go, ew, gross. So I had poured a shot of liquor for my deceased friend in his honor. And it was gone the next day. And I think he drank it. Or it disappeared to, somewhere. I have since tried repeating that ritual, and it didn't work. So I think this is a one-off thing. It's not like, oh, you continually offer a drink to your friend. I think it was an acknowledgement, of our friendship, of the fact that I was remembering him. Even talking about him now, I still miss him. Shit, it's been almost 20 years now, right? What, 18 years since he died. And I still think of him fondly. I think about what we had and maybe what could have been. And I know there's no point wasting your time thinking, woulda, shoulda, coulda, but occasionally it comes up. And we definitely would have enjoyed singing karaoke together. I wish I wish I had a more outgoing personality and tried it back in the day. I think we would have had a good time. I guess that's all I got to say. Thanks for watching.